Welcome to Travel with Sean. I'm Sean. Today we are in Naples, Italy. We're taking a look around at some historic sites. Now we are at La Neapolis Serrata, which is the underground city of Neapolis. Neapolis was the original name of Naples when it was founded. But in the 5th century AD, there was torrential rainfall and a terrible mudslide in the city. And the city got buried in mud. So, what we're going to look at is the excavated original city of Naples. They even have a church down there, a basilica.
La Neapolis Serrata is the buried city of Naples, called Neapolis as early as the 6th century BC when it was part of the Greek kingdom of Syracuse. We're going to look at the ruins of the marketplace, more than 30 feet below the 13th century monastery of San Lorenzo Maggiore. This sketch of Neapolis shows in the dark where the Roman Forum was at the end of the 5th century. And this was the marketplace, which is where we're going to visit. The marketplace was part of the city's forum and built between the years 48 and 52 AD. In the 490s, there were torrential rains and devastating mudslides which buried the ground level of the marketplace. This was less than 15 years after the fall of the Roman Empire, so it was a period of economic hardship. Rather than dig the city out of the mud and make repairs, they decided that it would be more cost effective to build over the ruins. These are some of the ruins of the 5th century Basilica of San Lorenzo Maggiore. In 1266, the Franciscan Monastery of San Lorenzo Maggiore was built on top of the ruins of the 5th century marketplace and on top of the ruins of the 5th century basilica. Inside the 13th century monastery, the frescoes on the ceiling of Chapter Hall feature geometric and floral designs, as well as Bible stories. What looks like a family tree here is actually a representation of various members of the Franciscan order who had earned distinction by the 17th century, and this includes various popes, cardinals, saints, and other members. Sixtus V Hall was named after the 16th century pope known by that name, and was the dining hall for the monastery. Beginning in 1435, because of its central location in the city, it served as the main assembly hall for the Parliament of the Kingdom of Naples. Parliament continued to meet here until 1799. These paintings represent the 7 primary virtues believed to be required of kings of Naples, and they are surrounded by 4 other minor virtues completing the characteristics of the ideal king. Other frescoes here depict regions within the Kingdom of Naples across most of southern Italy. From 1246 to 1435, the coat of arms for the Kingdom of Naples was divided into 3 sections. The yellow and red bars on the left represent ties to the Kingdom of Aragon and Catalonia. The cross on the right represents the Catholic Church and Crusades, while the fleur-de-lis in the middle represents the king's French heritage. Now we're going downstairs to the ancient marketplace, where we will walk on the first century road called Carvina. These are the ruins of the Palace of Justice for the Kingdom of Naples. It was built in the 6th century after the flood and mudslide, when Naples was conquered by the Byzantine Empire, which now is modern-day Turkey. The Palace of Justice was destroyed in 1266 by King Charles I of Naples to make room for the Franciscan monastery. I need to descend further to get to the ancient marketplace. That brings me to a road built in the 1st century AD, and we can see how the road was made of two different types of stone, black and white. The black stone is lava rock, and the white is marble. The purpose for using marble was that it reflected the moonlight, allowing people to see where they were walking in the dark. The marketplace was part of the city's forum, built by the Romans between the years AD 48 and AD 52. In the 490s, there was a massive mudslide which buried the market shops. The fall of the Roman Empire was less than 15 years before this, so the city was already in an economic crisis. They decided it would be more cost effective to build over the ruins than remove the mud. This is where people brought their clothes to be cleaned, like a laundromat. They cleaned their clothes using water, ash, soda, natural ammonia, and urine. Urine was important for keeping the colors looking vibrant. Here they had various shops, including a bakery that specialized in bread and cookies. This shop was for dyeing clothing and other fabrics. Archaeologists found many items used for making dyes, including shells, flowers, plants, iron salts, and aluminum. They mostly used linen and wool for clothing because clothing made from cotton and silk were expensive. Cotton was imported from England and silk was imported from China. Every shop in the marketplace had at least one window which let light into their shop and facilitated air circulation. The Romans believed in the health benefit of keeping their bodies clean, so they built public baths in every town they conquered. Arches were popular in Roman architecture for several reasons. They distribute weight evenly, giving their structures more stability. Arches both physically and symbolically mark transitions from one space to another. Passing through an archway can evoke feelings of anticipation, excitement, or even trepidation. They can also create a sense of enclosure and intimacy. This was the food market. The various shops had benches where they could place their food products, like fish and meat, for example. Again, you see windows for air circulation and light. Now we've come to the tax collector's office. You can see there is a brick triangle above the doorway. Public offices such as this had a triangle built above the doorway, while doorways to the merchants' shops were shaped with an arch on top, like those. To the side of the door was a window where people would line up to pay their taxes. Archaeologists believe that this public building was tax collector's office because of the numerous coins found around the window. These stairs here were built by the Franciscan monks in the 13th century. They used these ruins as their cellar. You may recall that their dining room was just above, so they built these stairs to access their cellar. Now we are in a meeting room that merchants would use for making economic decisions about the marketplace. It was also a training room used for teaching new job techniques. In the floor is a stone basin that would collect rainwater coming in from a similarly sized window in the wall above, and would then drain into the cistern below. This one is from the 5th century BC. The cistern preserved the water so they could then use it for cleaning the meeting room and or for watering their garden. Here we are looking at the merchant's lobby from the 1st century BC, and we can see the mosaic floor has been preserved. This kind of flooring and design was typical of that period and would take an artist about 6 days for 1 square meter, which is about 3 square feet. Given the size of this flooring, it would have been expensive to create. We can see that the walls were built with 3 different materials: long thin bricks, large stones that look like concrete blocks, and a small pyramid-shaped stone called opus reticulatum, which was a type of wall covering used for aesthetic purposes made of volcanic stone. It was popular in the 1st century BC and 1st century AD. The large stones are from the Greek period, 5th century BC and earlier, that the Romans repurposed from other buildings. The long thin bricks you see are typical of the Roman era bricks. All of this is what they called the scola, which is where they would train their employees and have meetings. Now we look at the ruins of a 6th century priest's house. So this was built after the mudslides. And keep in mind that the Basilica of San Lorenzo Maggiore was nearby here also. These arches belonged to the priest's house and likely served as a doorway between the house and the garden. Thank you for traveling along with me. I appreciate your support. Until next time, arrivederci. Ciao. Bye bye.